And we are live. And guys, you should know by the intro, this is Box to Box football. And yeah, I'm back here with Jack and yeah, James, and yeah, let's go. But guys, I'll be rapping along. The Premier League is finally done. So after a weird season where Liverpool dominated, we had this massive 5-month period of no football, and then it came back and we kind of just sped through it. And now it's out of our hands. The 2019-20 Premier League season is officially done. Congratulations to Liverpool. Congratulations to Man United for finishing top four. Man City for beating their case. Chelsea for getting top four. Aston Villa for that was massive. Yeah, great. But before we end the season, we must end the season properly.
Yeah, the most prestigious awards are our awards. So
exactly,
we
want to award the best of the best this season. So today, welcome guys to the Premier League Award Show, where we have 5 trophies to give out. We don't the imaginary trophies out here. We have 5 categories, and we have 3 to 4 nominees for each award. So I've been talking a lot. Let's get it started, and we're going to start it off with the Manager of the Year. Now, I'm going to start off with the nominees. I have 3 nominees for Manager of the Year. Frank Lampard, Jurgen Klopp, and Chris Wilder. Now, Jack, those are the 3 that we kind of agreed on, but you want to give a few shout-out before we talk about the 2. So tell me, who do you want to shout out?
I think Solskjaer has taken that Man United team to 3rd. And I think it shows, apart from the top 2 teams, it shows the weakness of the league this year, that Man United team finished 3rd. I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. And then also Nuno Espirito Santo. For me, okay, I know we spoke before we started. You think Wolves have done kind of to expectation. I would say that, there was a shot that they were going to make Champions League. You picked them for the Champions League, for this time period. So I don't think you could say that if the manager hadn't done a terrific job developing Raul Jimenez, developing Adama Traore. I think they're worth a shout. However, I do think the winner of that award is in your shorter list.
Let's just go through the list, and let's first just talk a quick brief on Chris Wilder. Him bringing Sheffield United up last season into the Premier League, and he has done a terrific job the first season in the Premier League. They finished 8th in the league, played some exciting stuff, won some big games, smashed up some big teams this year, and he's kind of just come in and he's been the breath of fresh air. He's almost like that school English type, let's hit him hard, Terry Butcher type coach. And yeah, I feel he's been great this year. Jack, do you want to add a bit on him?
I think that the table never lies, but in this respect, it kind of does lie a bit. I think Sheffield United have played and performed better than 8th. Now, at the end of the day, where you finish is where you finish, and it's a totally fair reflection on how you've performed. But no, I echo everything you said. Breath of fresh air is exactly how I'd describe it. He's been totally himself. He's been totally real. There's no mind games, no BS. He just wants to try and win football games and coach his team. He's been fantastic.
Beautiful, beautiful. Second I want to talk about is Frank Lampard. Now, at the start of the season, I remember giving my prediction for Chelsea, and I said they were going to finish, I think, 7th or 8th.
Yeah, me too.
Eden Hazard leaving with no transfers coming in. There's no way this guy is going to find a way to even have Chelsea in the Champions League. Got Chelsea to 4th place with a average squad at best. Still need a defender, still need an out-and-out striker. They've got that, but he's done an absolutely incredible job, Jack.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, for the first time in ages, we've seen Chelsea actually try and use their academy and develop players. So for me, I think Frank's done a terrific job, but I think it's more about the fact that Chelsea finally actually used their youth academy, and we saw the likes of Mason Mount. We saw the likes of, Tammy Abraham's been around a bit, but we've seen them kind of develop a little bit more. But yeah, Frank's done a tremendous job nonetheless.
So, Jack, we got one more to really talk about. And to me, in my opinion, Chris Wilder and Frank Lampard, amazing jobs. But if we're talking about Manager of the Year, we can't look no further than Jurgen Klopp. as great as those two are, this guy has been head and shoulders with everyone this season. Now, last season, Liverpool finished a point off Man City. For him to go back and get this Liverpool team to concentrate and say, we're going to go again, but this time we're going to outdo Man City. By what? By winning every freaking game we possibly can do. And that's what they did. You know, there's no debate in this situation. Frankly, Jurgen Klopp to me is my manager of the year, Jack. Do you want to add to that?
I totally agree. This, for people out there, this is my favourite manager in the world right now, Jurgen Klopp. He's so likeable. I love his style of football. I'd watch Jurgen Klopp manage any football team because I know I'm going to enjoy the football match I'm going to watch. I would still give it to Chris Wilder. You know, I'm a huge advocate of what the environment that you find yourself in and then what you achieve. Jurgen Klopp for me is no doubt in second place. He's done a tremendous job. Like I say, he is my favorite manager in the world. But for me, it would probably just be Chris Wilder. However, in this situation, I don't feel very strongly about it. So the box-to-box football manager of the year is Jurgen Klopp.
Okay, Jack. I was going to say 99 points does not get you a manager of the year award. I'm thinking, what's going on? But okay, guys, we won that one. We won that. Well done. We're going to move on to the next category now. And we're going to show a bit of love for a position that people kind of frown upon at times. It's the goalkeeping position. Goalkeeper of the year. Now, we have 4 nominees for that. We have Nick Pope, Alisson, Dean Henderson, and Ederson. Now, Jack, this one right now I haven't really decided who I'm going to have as my goalkeeper of the year. 4 very good candidates, but I don't really think that they've been a standout goalkeeper this year.
No, I would agree. And I think the biggest trouble with picking goalkeepers, and you and I know this because we've talked about this 100 times. Guys listening, I'm going to look directly into the camera to make sure I have your attention. If you're a goalkeeper for a bad team, you got more work to do. If you're a goalkeeper for a good team, you have less work to do. It's a simple fact of the matter. So unfortunately, with certain statistics and certain things that do hit you in a certain way, they are going to lend themselves to the team in which you play in. Yes, guys, it's a team sport. It's 11 on 11, not 1 against 1. So I think when you look at the statistics on saves made, save percentages, and all that stuff, it's very important to remember the team that they're playing for. But no, James, sorry I went off on a bit of a tangent there, but I totally agree with your point. I don't look at it and go, they've been the best, no question. It's been relatively even.
Yeah, I think me looking at the list right now, I'm thinking, is there anyone else who deserves a mention? I'm thinking there hasn't been. To be fair, Martinez of Arsenal has been absolutely amazing this year since he's. But I'm not going to talk.
So's Bernd Leno, to be fair.
Bernd Leno has been great, but I don't think you can put any.
To me, just quickly, I do think, I know I said that whole spiel about the most saves or the save percentage doesn't say a lot. Martin Dubravka has been very good this year. He's had a lot of work to do. He hasn't had too many errors, and he's made more saves than anybody else. For a team that weren't in the relegation battle, more of a mid-table team that, with a new ownership, have a positive upswing. Martin Dubravka had probably more work than you'd expect, and a large reason as to why Newcastle finished where they did is because of Martin Dubravka. Probably wouldn't be my goalkeeper of the year, but he deserves a shout-out.
If I'm going to nominate a goalkeeper to win this, I'm going to go for Alisson. Why? Winning team. I felt like he's missed a bit of the season, but he still managed to get like 14 clean sheets after missing that many games at the start of the season. Been solid. Had a few mistakes coming to the end, but overall, I can't really think of a game that he's really threw away for Liverpool this year. I'm going to go for Alisson.
Yeah, I can't blame you. I feel like this is actually going to be a replica of the manager of the season debate. I think my goalkeeper of the year would be Dean Henderson. I think that's been a huge upgrade for them at Sheffield United. One of my top 5 signings of the season, even though it was just a loan signing. I'm sure they'll hope that there'll be some bust-ups going on at Manchester United, so maybe they can sign him permanently. But no, you know my opinion with Liverpool. If you have the best centre-back in the world, the 2 best full-backs, and the hardest working midfield in the game, your job as a goalkeeper is made a hell of a lot easier. So as much as I love Alisson, Roma legend for the 18 months or so that he was there, I do have to say that probably Dean Henderson. I think he had more work to do and was a more important part of his team, I'd say.
Okay, we're kind of 50-50 here, right?
Oh, no, that's yours. That's yours. I don't feel strongly about that. It's all yours.
No. We'll split down the middle, guys. You let me know. Dean Henderson, Allison, comment down below. Put in the comments. Tell me what you think about that. I'm gonna go for Allison. All right, so maybe box to box football. Just. But yeah, we're gonna move on to the next category right now, and we're gonna go for Young Player of the Year. We have 5 nominees for this. We have Marcus Rashford, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Mason Mount, Saka from Arsenal, and Mason Greenwood.
This one's really hard because I don't know what you want to go into. Mason Greenwood to me is the most exciting young player in football in terms of like a teenager. Obviously, we have a lot of incredibly talented players age 20, 21, 22, around that area. But the guy in the midst of this season was 17 at one point. He has 17 senior goals now for Manchester United, which is incredible. He's breaking records for young scoring. And I would expect him to be at least a 10-goal-a-season guy for next season. So very exciting for him. But he really wasn't a central piece to the team for the whole year. Trent Alexander-Arnold, I feel like it's almost, he's the kind of prisoner of his own success, because I don't look at him as a young player, even though he definitely is. This is, in my opinion, it's a coin toss between him and Hakimi for best right back in the world right now. I'd say it probably does go to Trent. If you really kind of force me, I'd say it probably will go to Trent. You mentioned Mason Mount there. It's been a joy to watch Mason Mount play.
And incredible this year.
But if you really had to force my hand, I don't think Chelsea are about to sign Kai Havertz because they were totally delighted with what Mason Mount has done or could be. So to me, I don't think it's very fair to have somebody classified as a young player who's probably the best in their position. So I'm going to go with Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Again, I want to give a bit of love for Bukayo Saka this year. He's came into a struggling Arsenal team, has been a massive, not just a positive light, but a real star. And for him to come in, get this new big contract, and also get number 7 shirt tells you something. He's been absolutely incredible this year. Marcus Rashford, to believe he's only 22 years of age. This feels like he's been around for about 18 years. This year, he was on, before the injury, he was on course for 30 goals in the season, scored 17 in the Premier League. Been absolutely brilliant for Manchester United. Mason Mount, and been a pure joy to watch. He has been, out of all Chelsea's youngsters who have seemed to fluctuate throughout the whole season, he's been a positive light and stayed steady throughout the whole season. And
just consistency is the word.
Consistency, absolutely. Definitely. But when you look at Chelsea picking their best team right now, Pulisic wasn't in the team because Mason Mount was playing that well. Yeah. But if I had to pick a young player of the year, Mr. Lookalike David Beckham, I have to go for Trent Alexander-Arnold. And if I didn't, I feel like the whole of England will kill me because he's just the new darling of England. I do believe Wan-Bissaka will be better than Trent Alexander-Arnold. Guys, we're going to move on to the next. So we've all agreed Trent Alexander-Arnold there.
I think so.
Kill me. Yeah, your boy Wonder. They love him. They absolutely love him. Trent is a great player. But we're going to move on to the most improved player. So our most improved player is a player from last season who's struggled, was coming this season and been a shining light, or like just improved overall. I have 4 nominees for this. We have Fred of Manchester United, Kovacic of Chelsea, Adama Traore from Wolves, and Danny Ings from Southampton. 4 nominees. I think there's obviously, if you have any honourable mentions, guys, if you have anyone who you believe that didn't get picked, please comment down below. Let me know there. But Jack, tell me, what do you think?
I like your shortlist. Nobody jumps out to me, and I must confess, I didn't do as much preparation for this section as I did for some of the other ones. Mm-hmm. To me, Fred shouldn't be on that list. I think he's had a much better year than he did before, so he's definitely improved 100%. However, the improvements that those other 3 have made are next level, different stratosphere. Adama Traore broke the record for successful take-ons or successful dribbles Hazard, I think, held the first, second, and fourth place for that, I think. Adama has now jumped him.
Wait, is this throughout this whole season?
Yeah, throughout the season.
Okay.
Yeah. So Adama Traore now holds the Premier League record in a season. Keep in mind, he's a sub, like a reasonable amount of time. Like a third of his appearances are from the bench. It's a very impressive stat, and he's been incredible this year. There's a reason why Wolves would want 120 million from him if they were to sell him. Who else did you have there? Danny Ings. Southampton are relegated without Danny Ings. It's the signing of the year. He nearly won the Golden Boot with Southampton.
22 goals, guys. Get that right. 22 goals from a struggling Southampton team. Incredible.
Without him, and I worked this out, maybe not after this most recent game week, but without him, they'd have about as many goals as Norwich. So I think that really does say it all for his contribution to that team. I'm just saying. And then also Kovacic. I always thought of kind of an overrated Eastern European midfielder when I saw him at Inter, and then when he moved to Real Madrid. And then, I kind of thought, even when he was at Chelsea to begin with, I was like, this guy doesn't want to be here. He's now, I know Kante's been in and out and injured and whatnot. He's Chelsea's most reliable and best midfielder. And I think he's been incredibly impressive. I know I was a bit strong on my Fred criticism there, but for me, that starting midfield now doesn't involve Fred. And he was a really good placeholder. But Fernandes came in, Pogba came back from his injury, and Matic has started playing better, and Fred's now a bench player. So to me, out of those three, my pick, I think already, it's got to be Danny Ings. Massive improvement. Still only 27.
I will not disagree with you there. 22 goals in the Premier League. What can you say? Like, this was a Southampton team, if you guys remember, at the start of the season, lost 9-0 to Leicester. 9-0. And Danny Ings just came into a team who, at the time, we were thinking like, yo, this might be the worst Premier League team we've ever seen. They were playing that badly.
Yeah.
So you got them around mid-table with 22 Premier League goals. I can't disagree, but I just want to talk briefly about the players we've nominated. Fred, I understand Manchester United have found their fall. The Bruno Fernandes coming in has kind of changed the way Fred is in the Manchester United team. But before all of that, from the start of the season till around coronavirus time, he was one of Manchester United's strongest performers. He wasn't great, but he was one of their strongest performers. Talk about improvement from last season. He was much better.
Yep.
Kovacic, just like you, I criticized him a lot last season. I was thinking, what is he? It was a thing. Sarri, it was Barkley or him, and Chelsea fans weren't really sure what to get about him. This guy was a substitute at best, in my opinion, for top teams. He has been this year. And it's just not only been consistent, but he's raised his level of play. He looks and he feels like he's a top player. I look at him right now. I'm not saying he's better than Kante, but as you said, he's as reliable as Kante. Performance is always hitting at 8 for Chelsea this season. Yeah. He's brilliant. But again, guys, my most improved player is Danny Ings. Easy.
No doubt.
Last bit. This is probably the most important award of the day. The one everyone's been talking about. There's going to be a few tears going on now if you're a Liverpool fan or if you're a whoever fan, but it's time for Player of the Year. Now, first of all, I don't want to get killed from my nominees here. Arsenal fans are going to kill me. Leicester fans are going to kill me, but I'm only going to nominate 5. I'm not going to nominate 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? I'm going to nominate 5. We got Jordan Henderson of Liverpool, Virgil van Dijk of Liverpool, Sadio Mane of Liverpool, Kevin of Liverpool. Kevin De Bruyne of Man City and Danny Ings of Southampton. Now, if you're an Arsenal fan, thinking, why is Aubameyang not in there? Why is Vardy not in there? Unfortunately. Maybe and also Bruno Fernandes could have got in there, but I just felt that if he would have been there throughout the whole season, then I could nominate him.
I can't. I'm never given any January. You have to do something ridiculous if you're a January signing to be played.
He's been amazing. Don't get it twisted, but like with his 18 penalties this year, I mean, it's great. Yeah. Jack, Player of the Year. Tell me.
I think you and I are going to agree, and I think it's because you and I both respect the exact same thing when it comes to what this guy is. What he's still capable of. I still don't even know if we've seen the best of this player. He's the number 1 starter in his position. in the world for me right now. He's arguably the first name on the team sheet of the world 11 right now, and it's Kevin De Bruyne. The guy, it's the director's chair when you're watching a football game. So what you see, what Sky give you, what BT give you, whatever. You look at passes. I'll be watching a game with James, and you'll go, "Oh, a little ball in there, a little ball in there." When you're at field height, and you don't have the same kind of view that everyone sees, it's very easy for a player not to see the pass because they just don't have the angle on it. Whenever I see a pass on the field and I go, "Oh, a little ball in there would be really nice," Kevin De Bruyne will just do it with the outside of his foot, with his first touch, when it's been hammered at him, whatever. Kevin De Bruyne's ability and what he's been able to do this year, especially with that joint assist record right now, is unbelievable. I'm the biggest advocate of Jordan Henderson and his intangible qualities that he has as a leader, and as bringing the team together and keeping it nice and simple. Danny Ings, my whole argument about doing what you can with your environment obviously holds true with him. What he's been able to do at Southampton is incredible. Who else we have? Mane and Van Dijk, of course, have been massive parts of a very successful team. But in terms of ability, in terms of what he's been able to achieve this year, and the best player in the league by a mile, in my opinion, is Kevin De Bruyne.
Jack, I echo everything you have to say. The award is the player of the year, not the player who's done the most out off the field. It's the best player on the pitch overall. Now, I like Jordan Henderson. I feel like he's had a good year. People say great. Yes, he captained Liverpool, but I don't think he's Liverpool's best performer. I feel he's had two players over him, the two players that I nominated from Liverpool, Virgil van Dijk and Sadio Mane. And if you're going to talk about Liverpool players that might deserve it, I would maybe Sadio Mane dimension over Jordan Henderson.
Or Robertson, Trent, you can do the whole team.
For me, the player of the year is to me the best player of the overall season. Kevin De Bruyne is, when I used to look at Premier League players, you say, "Oh, he's the best player in the Premier League," and they would just be the best player in the Premier League. Kevin De Bruyne is not only the best player in the Premier League, he's the best player in his position. And how many times can we say that from with a Premier League player? Because it's usually a La Liga midfielder or a Serie A midfielder or Bundesliga. A Premier League player is the best player in his position. We're talking about midfielder. He is one of a kind. His ability to pick out a pass. I said Ozil was one of the best passers I've ever seen. Kevin De Bruyne to me is a better passer than Mesut Ozil. And that's something. His ability this season is out of this world. For him to break Thierry Henry's or equal Thierry Henry's 20 assist season is, I'm pausing right now because I don't even say it's out of this world.
It's hard to explain. I think
exactly.
I think the best thing that sums him up for me is, with a striker who's really fast, you can just talk about how fast they are. Or somebody who's a great finisher, you can just talk about how great finishers they are. Or with, a passer, you can go, "Oh, they're great at passing." Kevin De Bruyne does so much, so well, that you feel like when you start talking about it, you're going to miss something out, which is doing him a disservice. That's how special he is. James, while we're talking about it here, this might be the best player in the world right now. He's certainly in the conversation.
Jack, I wasn't even not just the best player in the world. He may go down as the best midfielder to ever play in the Premier League. That's how good this player is. Now, all the nominees are amazing. Virgil van Dijk, you know how I feel about him. But what Kevin De Bruyne has given me as a midfielder, I can't find a weakness in him.
Exactly.
He can play short. He can play long. He can shoot free kicks, penalties. He can do everything you want. Midfielder. And competitive. If you want him to sit and play as a 4 and just pick out passes, he can do that. He can go box to box. He can play as a 10. He can do everything. And to me, as great as everyone is, I don't think it's a debate this year. The player of this is Kevin De Bruyne. And if you have a problem about that, please click off.
One thing I will say, and this is just to defend Henderson's Football Writers Award, I need everybody listening to understand that Football Writers Award, what do writers do? They write stories and they write reports and that kind of thing. Now, that follows a huge narrative. Now, an English player who, certainly started at Sunderland and was this kind of player, who then joined for Liverpool, was there for the hard times, then became captain and was there for the good times, the best leader in the Premier League right now. I would say, I think I saw the stat, with Jordan Henderson playing, they win 92% of their games, and without him, they win 70 something. So he's clearly very valuable. But you have to understand the narrative for Jordan Henderson to win the Writers' Award is there. And I would agree. I think Jordan Henderson is the Writers' Player of the Year. But in terms of football player on the field, writers and narratives not involved, it's Kevin De Bruyne, and it's not really that close.
So, guys, we've been talking. We've been waxing lyricals about Kevin De Bruyne for a minute now. He deserves
so much of that.
he is that good of a player. But, guys, I'm done here, Jack. Guys, thank you for watching. I'm going to see you guys next time. I'm going to go grab something to drink. I don't know about you, Jack. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in a bit, guys.